NTA International News.
45 of 47 non-career ambassadorial nominees cleared by Senate. Towards rehabilitating and building capacity of internally displaced persons, Nigeria in talks with USAID Northeast Initiative. As world celebrates Meteorological Day, NIMET gets set to forecast for safety. Hello, welcome to NTA International News this hour. I'm Nancy Godi Angonihu. We begin with parliamentary reports. The Senate has confirmed 45 out of the 47 non-career ambassadorial nominees. That of Ondo was dropped due to DSS report, while the nominee from Imo was considered too old. The Senate President Bukola Saraki called on the nominees to be exemplary in their behavior. He reiterated the need for proper funding of Nigerian embassies.
A lot of our non-career diplomats that we must be good examples and good ambassadors for our country. So I think that to be advisable as they are being posted, that government can ensure that they can clear the outstandings that are due on this mission. We wish them all the best and hope they continue to do great service to our country.
The National Assembly says it will support any organization that promotes peace and stability in the country, giving the indication while receiving members of the Institute of Mediators and Conciliators. The Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu emphasized the need for agencies with similar mandate to collaborate for common purpose. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
The Deputy Senate President urged members of the Institute of Mediators and Conciliators to deploy their resources in ensuring that tension in some parts of the country are reduced to the barest minimum.
We are passing through a very difficult phase in our country that requires the activities of people like you, that requires the services of your institute and your organization. I'm very aware, and I'm sure you're aware, of the many ethnic tensions all over the country. These are not matters that we have to resolve through the right of might, but through some alternative dispute mechanism.
The president of the Institute, Emeka Obegolu, said over 6,000 members have been trained, and the Institute is collaborating with the Nigerian Law School to train law students as mediators and communal dispute resolution. He appealed to the Senate to pass the bill establishing the Institute to give it its legal backing.
We are collaborating with the Northeast Regional Initiative to train stakeholders in the Northeast. We started with Adamawa State, where we trained 66 stakeholders in mediation and communal dispute resolution. We are hoping that the initiation will continue to Borno State and other states of the Northeast.
The People's Democratic Party Reconciliatory Committee, led by the governor of Bayelsa State, also visited the Deputy Senate President to commend the legislators for their efforts at deepening democracy.
We are here to hand over a copy, formally, of the proposals and the recommendation, proposals of the Reconciliation Committee, not as a final document, but for us to have a template based upon which further consultations and further improvements and adjustments can now be made.
The Deputy Senate President urged members to work together for the good and prosperity of the party and the country. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
Dialogue, reconciliation and constitution reforms have been described as key elements in Mali peace process. Members of parliament and other stakeholders said this during an interactive session at the joint delocalized committee meeting ongoing in Bamako, Mali. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Since 2012, Mali has been mired in overlapping security, political and economic crisis after Mali's government was overthrown in a military coup d'etat. Despite significant increase in international efforts since 2013, the country remains volatile. Interacting on the Malian peace process, progress, security challenges, and prospects for sustainable peace, the member states during the meeting advocate through dialogue, reconstruction, reintegration, and implementation of the Peace and Reconciliation Agreement from the Algiers process.
To achieve genuine peace, the government of this great country, Mali, must take the lead. The government must not feel too big.
Women need to be central to any resolution of this crisis because it only is normal. And we are the very ones who are losing our husbands, we're losing our children in this whole.
Reiterating that justice and protection of human rights is important in the peace process in Mali, Chairman Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, ECOWAS Parliament, Yaya Sangare noted that Malians must be willing to embrace peace.
Il faut que tous les Maliens puissent se parler.
We Malians will need to realize that it is we who should be in the lead in this process. We should lead the process of reconciliation.
The peace process that they are trying to build now is the one that is going to give them a lasting peace.
Members used the interactive session to commend the United Nations and stress the need for the establishment of a second chamber of assembly in Mali, a national conference and inclusiveness in governance. In Bamako, Mali, Olainka Uju, NTA News.
Nigeria's National Commission for Refugees intends to collaborate with USAID Northeast Initiative in the task of rehabilitating internally displaced persons in the areas of capacity building and system strengthening. Federal Commissioner in charge of the Commission, Sadiya Umar Farouk, stated this while in a meeting with the USAID group. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
It is clear that the Nigerian military has won the war against the Boko Haram insurgents, but the task of rebuilding devastated areas and rehabilitating the IDPs remain a big challenge. That is why the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons is seeking possible ways of assistance to rebuild affected areas and give the IDPs a sense of belonging. The Federal Commissioner said she led the team to USAID Northeast Initiative Office to discuss and initiate relationships in order to complement government efforts. She said government alone cannot shoulder the burden, but the Commission will continue to seek for assistance from other partners to completely rebuild the Northeast.
More areas of collaboration, how we can partner, to see how we can, address these issues in the Northeast.
On the forceful deportation of Nigerian refugees in Cameroon, the Federal Commissioner expressed concern over the ugly trend. The program manager, USAID Northeast Initiative, John Oyeku, said the organization has been intervening in the Northeast and promised to continue in that regard. With the Nigerian military winning the war against Boko Haram and now in the process of restoring peace, it is expected that reconstruction and rehabilitation of Northeast is given priority. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Administration has been identified as pivotal for effective and efficient management of human and material resources. This was at a workshop on document security for commanders and administrative personnel of the Nigerian Air Force at the instance of the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar. Olajide Bello has more.
With the theme enhancing document security for effective and efficient service delivery in the Nigerian Air Force, the workshop is to bridge gaps observed in handling of classified documents in line with international best practices. The ever-changing global administrative and information technology environment, according to the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has made it extremely difficult for the service to ensure efficient and effective document security without regular avenues to update information and ideas.
At the end of the workshop, I am confident that the participants will possess the requisite competence to provide solutions and deliver favorable outcomes to administrative issues that had hitherto been a challenge to the Nigerian Air Force.
The objective of the workshop, therefore, is to enhance professionalism by addressing pertinent security issues in handling official documents.
Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar noted that the workshop, which is in line with his vision of promoting and inculcating core values of integrity, excellence and service delivery in Nigerian Air Force personnel, would help in overcoming challenges militating against effective and efficient document security. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Turning to the judiciary, the Supreme Court has fixed the 4th of May to hear arguments concerning the motion for the withdrawal of the appeal by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, after the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt last month. This is one of the surprising dimensions the PDP crisis case took at the Supreme Court today. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo has the full gist.
Coming from the Court of Appeal's judgment in Port Harcourt, the aggrieved party filed an appeal at the Supreme Court against that judgment. But at this hearing on Thursday, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, who had announced appearance for PDP, and Chief Akinolujimi, both senior advocates of Nigeria, who was for Senator Alimodu Sheriff and Professor Ladipo, told the court that they were both withdrawing their appeal. Why did they wish to withdraw the appeal?
Alimodu Sheriff has been confirmed as the authentic chairman of PDP. If any action is to be taken, we have to sanction it.
We now have to file an application in which we are praying the court to strike out this appeal, which was filed without any authorization by those who could give authority within the PDP.
The crux of the matter is that the counsel acting for the appellant, in this case, Senator Ahmed Makarfi's caretaker committee, also filed the appeal in the name of the PDP.
Oh, there's an appeal. You heard me say so. Why do you say we have not been authorized if there's an appeal? We have been authorized. This is from a judgment of the Court of Appeal.
And on the 4th of May, that is what the Supreme Court will be determining, who has the authority to file appeal before the Supreme Court in the light of the judgment of the Port Harcourt Division of the Court of Appeal. From the Supreme Court, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the two disputing groups of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Alimodu Sheriff and Ahmed Makarfi, have signed a peace agreement in the interest of the party. This followed a peace meeting convened by Governor Dixon, National Reconciliation Committee of the party. Details of this report will come your way in our subsequent bulletins. Governor Ben Ayade has sworn in to office Justice Michael Edem as the acting Chief Judge of Cross River State following the death of Justice Okoye Ikpe-Itam. Udrak Etim completes the story.
While emphasizing the critical role of the judiciary in the democratic rule, Governor Ben Ayade urged the newly sworn-in acting Chief Judge, Justice Edem, to ensure the integrity of the judiciary system is maintained. The governor, who expressed sadness over the death of the late Chief Judge, Justice Okoye Itam, whom he described as a man of peace, said the judiciary must continue to function effectively for the overall growth of the state. Governor Ayade, while congratulating the acting Chief Judge, whom he described as a man of great intellect, said he is confident that Justice Edem will reform the judiciary system and create relationship between other arms of government and the judiciary. He called on the legislative and executive arms to give judiciary the necessary support to maintain the existing sanity in the system.
Today we celebrate Michael Edem. Let me commit on his behalf that the people of Cross River State will see peace, they will see love, they will see tranquility, they will see justice.
In his acceptance speech, Justice Michael Edem promised to discharge his duties effectively for the betterment of the state and to give the judiciary a responsible leadership.
And all the citizens therein, because in my hand are powers, I can assure that there will be judicial use of the power.
Until his new appointment was one of the serving judges in Cross River State. In Calabar, Udwa Etim, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. We shall be right back after the break.
the road na all the manner, how we had the night. This roundabout, how it used to be before, it's not the way it's looking now.
This is a rescue mission project. Invest in Imo. The Imo Rescue Mission. Imo must be better.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
It's good to know you're still watching the news. Now on environment matters. Clouds play a vital role in forecasting weather. It helps the entire climate system and regulates the Earth's energy balance. As the world commemorates Meteorological Day, marked every 23rd of March, Director General of NIMET, Professor Sani Abubakar Mashi, says the agency will improve on its forecast for safety of all. Miriam Emeka reports.
Imagine a cloudless sky during the day or night. Humanity will be inflicted with many heat-related diseases, direct exposure to ultraviolet radiation, and extreme cold. That is the focal point of World Meteorological Day, which Nigeria is commemorating among other 191 meteorological organizations, WMO, on 23rd March every year. The theme for this year's celebration is Understanding the Clouds, which highlights the importance of clouds for weather, climate, and water. Professor Sani Abubakar Machi is the Director General, NIMET.
Celebration for this year is particularly relevant to us as a country in two fronts. One, as members of WMO, Nigeria as a member of WMO, we are celebrating another milestone in the historical achievement of the organization in the Asia. Secondly, we are marking the day to observe the particular thematic issue that WMO has identified to be addressed by all the national weather agencies in the world.
The Director General said NIMET, through the observation of clouds, predicted delay in the commencement of rainfall and lengthy dry spell, which will affect crop production in the country.
So the implications of this are quite obvious. It means since we are relying heavily on rain in order to cultivate crops, the behavior of the rain might not be to the expectation of the farmers. So unless if strong measures are taken, which have to do with the agronomy, the way we do go about our farming, we might likely going to experience some problems in our production system.
This year, the WMO is launching the new International Clouds Atlas, which NIMET will deploy to enhance observation of clouds. Miriam Emeka Madi, NTA News.
And for happenings within the financial sector, here is Chukunonso Nwabweze.
Thanks for joining us on Business News. Although the process of building a world-class business environment is a long-term project which might not be accomplished in 5 years, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Okechukwu Enelama says with the right economic policies being put in place by the federal government, Nigeria will in the next couple of years be so irresistible in terms of attracting foreign direct investment. This will also enhance the implementation of the present administration's entrepreneurship development program aimed at promoting micro, small and medium enterprises.
We're working closely to make sure that the enabling environment investors need, we build it. We're also working to make sure that we restore market confidence, investor confidence, business confidence in a way that people will see Nigeria as an attractive place to do business.
Meanwhile, Kenya this Thursday launched the issuance of its first mobile phone-based government bond. The initiative provides a platform for investors to buy the bond through their phones, where a record of their holding will be stored, as well as make coupon payments through the device. The bond, known as M-Akeba, allows people to invest as little as 3,000 Kenyan shillings, about $29 US. Let's now take a look at how the equities market fared this Thursday. And that's our package on this segment. Thanks for being there. I am Chukunonso Nwabweze.
And Uche Nwizu brings us stories trending around the globe.
United Nations Refugee Agency says the huge number of people who have fled to Uganda from South Sudan has pushed the country to breaking points. Uganda presently hosts 800,000 refugees, and Prime Minister Rugunda said the influx places an enormous strain on public services and local infrastructure. President John Magufuli of Tanzania has sacked his information minister, who launched an investigation into a government administrator accused of intimidating a popular private media station in Dar es Salaam. In a mini reshufflement on Thursday, President Magufuli did not give his reasons for the sack. In Zimbabwe, opposition parties request the African Union and United Nations to be involved in 2018 presidential election. This comes after a preparatory meeting fell apart after confrontations that made the country's electoral commissioner chairperson to walk out, accusing the opposition of unfairly targeting her. And the Metropolitan Police in London has named 52-year-old Khalid Mashoud as the man believed to be responsible for the attack in Westminster. Reports revealed that Mashoud, who died in the attack, was not the suspect of any current police investigations, although he had a range of previous convictions for assaults. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
Now sports, MFM FC go top on the Nigerian